So today, in this video, I'm going to be talking about populism in the United States, and more specifically, Donald Trump. Populism this year was a very current theme, and it was extremely prevalent in our most recent election in the past year. We saw populism from both sides of the spectrum. You had Bernie Sanders, who was left-leaning, he was a socialist, and then you had Donald Trump, who was obviously more of a right-leaning, but regardless of their political opinions, both Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump were deemed as outsiders, and especially Donald Trump was a very unlikely opponent because he was known for being more of a billionaire celebrity rather than a politician. However, a group of Americans that weren't necessarily left or right all the time backed him, and they started to support him, and a lot of people were very surprised by that. So within Donald Trump's campaign, he had three sort of populist views and themes throughout his campaign, and the three I'm going to be discussing is the forgotten person, the forgotten man being the first one. The second one being immigration. There was a lot of talk about that concerning Trump's wall, a lot of illegal immigration talk throughout all the debates, throughout the entire campaign. And finally, his idea of draining the swamp in terms of limiting government size. In Donald Trump's victory speech after he won the election, he said, quote, "The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer," unquote. Donald Trump focused a lot on sort of the ordinary person, which is definitely a populist approach during his campaign. He recognized that the sort of middle-class, hardworking Americans felt that the government had sort of forgotten about them, both economically but also socially and culturally, and so he felt that he could give them a voice in the upcoming years rather than having the elites being focused on and the extremely lower class being focused on. The second theme that was very prevalent in Donald Trump's campaign and sort of focuses on the ordinary person is the deal with immigration. Donald Trump has already, in his first 100 days, signed several executive orders concerning immigration. He wants to stop illegal immigration, and he also wants to build the infamous wall. Throughout his campaign, he said, "We're going to build a wall on the border with Mexico, and they are going to pay for it." And he thinks that this is for the benefit of the American people who are losing their jobs to Mexicans. Most recently, this poll came out that shows that people are actually responding well to the immigration ban, and they think that this will be the best move for the United States. The third theme of Donald Trump's campaign is to, quote, "drain the swamp." Now, government size and limitations is a very important theme for populist representatives who, on both sides of the spectrum, they either feel that government should be more or less involved. Donald Trump's view, obviously, was that he wanted to clear out what he called the entire corrupt Washington establishment. This was a very popular theme throughout his campaign because people felt that the elite politicians were liars, they were cheaters, and they just didn't have the backs of the American people. So Donald Trump's goal was to, as he said, drain the swamp and clear Washington out of corrupt politicians and individuals.